Rev it up and welcome to Cars Yeah, show number 1556.
This is Cars Yeah, where you'll enjoy interviews with inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Mark Green is here to provide you with a fuel injection of automotive inspiration. So get in, sit down, buckle up, and get ready for a wild ride here on Cars Yeah.
Hello, inspiring automotive enthusiasts, and a welcome to Cars Yeah. I'm revved up and very excited to share with you today a very special guest calling in from California, George Patrick. George Patrick is a lifelong automotive enthusiast whose company, Automotive Performance Group, known as APG, is a custom vehicle manufacturer with years of expertise and experience. The APG flagship vehicle is the Ranger PRORUNNER conversion package that brings real off-road performance and styling to the Ford Ranger with a combination of aesthetic and performance upgrades. It's a true carbon fiber wide body made of 100% aerospace grade carbon fiber, adds 10 inches of width to the truck and allows for fitment of up to 35-inch tires and up to 12.5 inches of suspension travel. Sounds like a beast. APG's philosophy is the process of designing, engineering, and manufacturing. We're going to learn a lot more about this vehicle and about George in just a minute, but first a word from our valued sponsors that make Cars Yeah possible. So sit tight, we'll be right back. What's your vehicle's worst enemy? No, it's not that bird that sits on that branch just above your car, waiting for his chance. It's the sun. But don't worry, Covercraft has you covered. Their sunscreens are a fast, easy, and inexpensive way to protect your dash from the sun's harmful UV rays, and they keep the interior of your vehicle way cool. Covercraft makes a wide variety of custom-fit sunscreens for almost any car that exists. They offer a wide variety of custom-fit sunscreens in a variety of colors as well for you to choose from. They're fast, easy to use, they fold up quick, and they store under or behind your seat and take about 5 seconds to install or remove. I have a Covercraft sunscreen in all of my vehicles, and you should too. And I've got a deal for you. Order online at covercraft.com and use the code YEAH120 and get 10% off your order. That's code YEAH120, YEAH 120 at covercraft.com. They've got you covered. What do you do after running a race team for 27 years with over 100 professional wins, multiple wins at the 24-Hour of Daytona, and a win at Le Mans? Well, if you're Kevin Buckler, racer and the Racers Group team owner, you create Adobe Road Winery. Located in Petaluma, California, he and his team have created a winning combination with the Racing Series, 4 ultra-premium red wine blends that are in a class of their own. Like racing, these wines comprise of art, precision, engineering, science, and a whole lot of fun. You can choose from 4 blends titled Redline, Apex, Shift, and the 24. Today I'm going to tell you about Redline. It's a rich and complex blend delivering a taste of ripe blackberries, black cherry licorice, and a hint of toasty oak. In addition, a very cool option on these bottles is that it features the world's first interactive wine label. That's right, when you pour the wine, the 3-dimensional tachometer actually hits the red line. The Racing Series is a killer gift for the automotive enthusiast in your life, and I've got a deal for you. If you use the code CARSYEAH at checkout, you get a flat shipping rate of $10 on your wine order. Your wine ships promptly and arrives quickly. Use the code CARSYEAH at checkout to get this deal. There's always a seat at the table for excellence with the Racing Series. Go to adoberoadwines.com and use the code CARSYEAH, all one word, today. Cheers. Hey, George, welcome to Cars Yeah. Are you buckled up and ready for a fun ride?
Sure am.
All right. Well, in your business, you better be, because kind of stuff that your vehicles tackle is going to require some 5-point harnesses, some gloves, and a helmet. So we'll have some fun. But first, George, I want to have you tell our listeners maybe one little thing that most people don't know about you. So share a little secret with us.
All right. Well, I was born into this business. Growing up in my dad's garage, you learn a lot at a young age. I've been doing this since I know it sounds kind of crazy, but until I was 5 years old.
Oh, wow.
I learned how to drive a stick at 5, sitting on my dad's lap or phone books, letting me shift on his lap,
Yeah.
My sister and I used to work in my dad's shop, sitting on the back. We worked summers and weekends, getting paid $5 a week. we'd bag parts and fender clips, and he let us drive the forklift when no one was looking.
Yeah, OSHA. That was OSHA approved, I'm sure.
Of course. Proper footwear all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm. It's really in my blood.
Yeah.
I've got a funny story about we used to stack old trash cars, like stripped old vehicles, and stack them on top of each other after they were done getting gutted.
Uh-huh.
So my dad would let me get the forklift and pick it up through the windows that are already removed and stack a couple high.
Oh my gosh.
One time I made a mistake and I stacked an old car on top of a brand new car.
Oh my goodness. Gee, Mom, I thought it'd look funny if your car was on top of Dad's car. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I didn't get paid that summer. Let's just
let's say you had to work that one off. Oh my gosh. Well, now that we all know that secret about George, do not let him near a forklift. You never know what you might end up with, some kind of rendition of Cadillac Ranch, but maybe a little bit different, vertical instead of angled like those Cadillacs are out there in Amarillo, Texas. Well, that's a cool story. Let's start with a mantra or a success quote, some kind of saying that has meaning for you. It's a nice way to get the inspirational tires turning here on Cars Yeah. So George, grab the wheel.
I tell you what, I'm not one for mantras or quotes, but I do believe in something more than anything else. We are all faced with challenges every single day. Nobody has it harder than somebody else. So I live by this. No matter how hard you have it, no matter how hard your challenge is or something you're trying to accomplish is, keep it into perspective. Don't complain. I guarantee you somebody else out there has it way worse than you do.
Yep.
So don't complain. Stop nagging. Find a way. Get it done. There's always challenges in this business. There is a solution. It's not witchcraft. Find the wire. Find the short. Find it. Get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. And that mantra leads nicely into another thought, and that is be nice to people that you're encountering every day, because everybody typically at some point will have something going on in their life. They might hide it well, but maybe they don't. Maybe it's that server who's preparing lunch for you, or that ticket counter person that just got screamed at by some guy because the weather turned. Yeah, just be nice to people, because everyone has something going on in their lives. Everybody does. And right now, we certainly have something going on in our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I always start by asking my guests to talk about their business, and I want you to do that. I want you to get into Automotive Performance Group and what you guys are all about, known as APG. But before we do, and without digging too deep into it, how has the pandemic affected your business, and how are you working around some of those challenges that you're being faced with?
Oh man, that's a tough one. There's not a lot of answers right now.
Right.
I'm a tech by nature, but I'm also a business owner. I care about my guys, and I'm not able to, nobody has any answers, right? Nobody knows what's going to happen in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Everybody's just kind of guessing and forecasting. We're not a traditional automotive repair facility, so we're not really considered essential, or more of a manufacturer and a modification shop. And I can't guarantee my guys safety. Like I said, there's too many questions. We did close the shop. We're very limited hours. We've only got me in the office. We've got 2 techs in the back. We've got 1 in the body shop and 1 in the mechanic shop. And we kind of rotate. So all my team, luckily everyone's okay. That's the most important part.
Oh, perfect.
I have every objective to reopen the shop as soon as they allow us to. We still have active business. We're looking forward to just jumping right back where we left off as soon as the government gives us the okay that we are allowed to. But right now, we're all just kind of hoping, and we're all kind of banded together in this same struggle. So hopefully we get the good news soon and we just jumpstart, go right back where we were.
Well, I hope so. Now, my audience knows I record these shows in advance. So today is actually April 28th, but your show goes up May 19th. So we're about 3 weeks different. So we'll see where we are from that point in time. I know my son lives in San Francisco, the Bay Area. They were just told today, the 28th of April, they have to stay in place until June 1st. So that just got pushed out a little bit further. But this is certainly a test for everyone in so many ways. But let's take a step back to when days were more normal and talk about what your business is, Automotive Performance Group. What are the things that you guys provide? I gave a little teaser at the intro bio here of this insane vehicle that you guys produce. My next door neighbor has a Ford Raptor, and he let me drive that thing, and oh my gosh, it's like driving a race car. I can't imagine taking it to another level where you guys are at. I think he's going to be a little jealous when he hears the show about the width and the height and the wheels. So tell us what has you excited about Automotive Performance Group.
Cool. I'll take you through a virtual tour afterwards.
Okay.
APG is, only founded in 2018. And, the name is new to the industry, but our knowledge and our experience is definitely not. Myself, my team, all of our team leaders, we've all been doing this with other companies or in our family businesses our entire lives. Pair that with my most trusted resource is family knowledge. Mm-hmm. I personally and my team have done everything from vehicle homologation, alternative fuel. We've done powertrain and drivetrain integration. We've done composite manufacturing, body design, you name it. We have a big wealth of information. So it's not just one particular shop. We're not a shop that does tune-ups. We're not a shop that does just paint, or a shop that does just body design, composite. We've got a lot of different divisions here. And if you come into our shop, we've got a 45,000 square foot facility.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's much bigger than your average corner shop.
That's huge. Yeah, that is large.
Yeah, we've built vehicles high end. We've done armoring, limousines, structural modifications. We've done a lot of fun projects that some have been for governments. We have a very well versed part of our business. And up until recently, I said, I want to get into the performance business. It's fun. And I'm an off-roader. I love the outdoors. I want to build vehicles where you can take them somewhere where there really aren't speed limits. There aren't as many rules. You can open it up and you don't have to be at a track. You can just turn your favorite jam on and go through the open desert and just be free. And you can do that with our truck. And that's why I introduced what I call the most affordable off-roader in the market. It's the vehicle we call the ProRunner. You mentioned that Ford Raptor that you had so much fun with. It's fun because it's got long travel suspension, it's fast, it's comfortable, and you can point it and you can drive there.
Right.
But at the end of the day, that Raptor is very expensive. Not everybody can afford a $1,200 car payment. That's an $80,000 truck. That's not cheap, and that's for a pickup truck.
Yep.
I said, how can I introduce a product where people can have just as much fun, but they can only afford half of that. Mm-hmm. So look, in comes this new Ford Ranger they introduced in 2019. If Ford introduced this Ranger Raptor to the United States, I don't think I would have done it. But here we've got this $30,000, super strong, high-end built pickup truck that's smaller, lightweight, turbocharged. It's fast. It's a well-built vehicle, but it lacks that ability to point it in a direction in an off-road environment. It's a commercial vehicle. Mm-hmm. It's well built. So I said, what kind of conversion can I give it so I can give it to the customers who want a Raptor but just can't afford it? So like I said, in comes the ProRunner. We take this $30,000 Raptor and we give it this out the door $16,000 conversion. And now you are as capable as an $80,000 Raptor for $40,000, that was our goal. Mm-hmm. How about the guys who can't afford, like I said, a $1,200 car payment? These guys want to go out and have a good time, but the Ranger by itself wasn't sufficient. Yeah. So we gave this a purpose-built conversion, and people are receiving the conversion and the price very well, and they're having a blast. I know I did. Take a look at the picture of me jumping the truck.
I know. Yeah. It's insane. You listeners can go to my website and you'll see on George's show notes page a picture of this thing airborne. I mean, it's just so cool. I want to say this is not a purpose-built trophy truck where you can jump this thing and treat it like it won't break. At the end of the day, it's still covered by a full factory warranty. You can't hook this thing in the desert all day long and expect things not to go wrong. It's still a production vehicle, mm-hmm. but you can really enjoy it. It's well built within reason, and the value you get, it is worth every penny. Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. And I'll make sure to put a link to APG's website so you can go in and dig your fingers deeper into the dirt here. But I love what you've done. You provided a alternative for people in a different price point, which is so important for so many people, whether you can afford it or you don't choose to spend that much money on a high-end vehicle like a Raptor. You can have fun and do it with APG here at Cars Yeah today. That's fantastic. Well, we talked a little bit about the challenges that all of us are facing with this pandemic. I want you to kind of dig deeper into a challenge or even a failure that you faced somewhere along the way. This could be your life, could be your business, whatever you want to share with us today. But the most important part of this is how you overcame that situation and what it taught you so you could move forward in a positive way. So take us on a little trip here, George.
Sure. Well, why don't we just use this Ranger project as an example?
Yeah.
Anytime you design something, you're relying on a whole team of people to come together and all do what they're supposed to do. You've got engineers, servicers, designers, CAD engineers, and then you got the guys who have to, the body engineers who have to work with the suspension engineers to make sure everything's going to work in harmony. Your tire's going to clear at full suspension tuck and droop. Is there going to be contact? Different departments have to work together. A lot of times, as much as we wish people would listen to each other and work together, sometimes there's confusion and things get lost in translation. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest issues we have is it always seems to be in the very beginning. When you're working with CAD data, any kind of automation software, in the beginning of your design, if anything goes wrong, all of your design, all of your engineering from that point forward is wrong.
It's like a big domino effect, isn't it?
It's just a big domino effect. So everything has to be perfect from the beginning to the end. Everything's about execution. While we were scanning the original Ranger, we don't shape things by hand. We use computers for everything. Mm-hmm. In the earlier days when we were scanning the original data, the data wasn't analyzed and captured correctly. So while we surfaced off that data, we created our shapes off of the original mounting points. From that point forward, everything was done wrong.
Oh, no.
Everything was done wrong. Months and months of work and huge investment. It reminds me of an old saying, measure twice, cut once.
Ah, my woodshop teacher in 7th grade, C.C. Dixon was his name. Boys, measure twice, cut once. Yeah, I'll never forget that guy.
I wish I listened to Jeffrey Seaver, my woodshop teacher, a little bit more.
Yeah.
We accidentally rushed through the scanning process and we got some inaccurate data. So the process after that was surface that data, modify that data, create your shapes and panels, and then you got to build a massive foam block that we then route out and create what we call a plug. Then we'll make molds off that plug and then start to create parts off that mold. Mm-hmm. Well, when we went to install our once we trimmed out our first part, went to bolt up, I said, "Uh-oh, this isn't right."
Yeah.
And we started, chasing the snake back down the hole, and we quickly realized this mistake happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
We're talking months of R&D.
Yeah.
And I wanted to scrap the project. I said, I can't believe this. I said, guys, I rely on my team. What went wrong?
Yeah.
We sat down and we realized we had to alter data from the very beginning. And we almost had to start all over again. Over again.
Wow.
So things like that, things do go wrong. Yeah. But you need to be persistent. Work through the issues, have resolve, have a strong backbone, and push forward because, it's not easy. My dad always taught me, he said, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Yes.
So if you can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen.
Yeah.
So if you want to stay in the kitchen, toughen up, figure it out.
Wow. What a story. Well, I'll tell you, as you're telling the story, I'm looking at your website and the front of this beast, and I'm thinking this looks like a Mustang, like a Boss Mustang morphed into a truck. I mean, it's just, the front of this thing just wants to eat you. I mean, I love everything about it. It's just so cool. And I'm not really even a truck guy. I'm a sports car guy. But I look at this and I go, okay, if I was going to meld a sports car into a truck and go off-road, I think I might just do this. And what I love about it is it's like you built this big truck and then you squished it down a little bit to give it a little bit of a profile and a little bit of a raciness. That's why I say it kind of gives me a sense of a Mustang in the front a little bit. But I think it's great what you've done, and I appreciate you walking us through that. Sometimes, you've got to go back to the drawing board and start over. It's painful, but no doubt you guys learned something about the beginning processes here so that type of thing doesn't happen again, I would hope, right?
Absolutely. It's something, I also am a believer of. It's not a mistake unless you make the same mistake twice.
Right.
Then it's a mistake. The first time it's a learning curve.
It's a learning curve. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for taking us there. I'm glad you've worked things out for those guys out there that love cool trucks. Let's take a short break here. Thank our sponsors, and we'll be right back. My favorite collector car magazine is Keith Martin's Sports Car Market. I've been a subscriber for decades. Sports Car Market is the Wall Street Journal for enthusiasts and collectors. It's your monthly must-read whether you dream of owning a collector car or if you have 200 in your garage. Sports Car Market has been around for 31 years, and it's filled with valuable articles, intelligent write-ups, and the latest auction sales. Go to sportscarmarket.com and subscribe today. Plus, you'll get an exclusive SCM guide to restoration shops included for free. And I've got a couple very cool offers. One is if you go and subscribe to their digital subscription, you're going to get 50% off using the code CARS. Yeah, that's right. 50% off their digital subscription. But wait, that's not all. If you go and subscribe and get their print magazine and use the code BSH, you get $10 off. That's right, $10 off. Why BSH? Well, that's the Buy, Sell, Hold podcast that I do every Tuesday with Keith Martin. You'll find it here on the Cars Yeah website or using your mobile device with any mobile device podcast app, or you can find it at sportscarmarket.com. That's Buy, Sell, Hold, the essence of collecting. If you're listening to Cars Yeah, you've probably spent some time working on your favorite ride. But how confident are you working on your finances? You may be able to rebuild a fuel injection system, but can you decipher the details of a mutual fund? If you're like me, investments, insurance, annuities, budgeting, and other financial concepts may seem a bit daunting, but what if I told you there's a book that describes these subjects and more in an easy-to-read and a very humorous way? My friend Chris Kimball, CFP, a longtime sponsor and past guest here on Cars Yeah, has written that book, and it's titled The Saga of Eicken, a couple's humorous journey through the confusing world of finance. It's a fun look at things you need to know, everything from investing to effective ways to get rid of credit card debt, and it's probably the only book on finance with a VMAX on the front cover and a classic Mini Cooper on the back. The book's available at Amazon for just $10, and this book will dramatically improve the direction of your financial future. I gave copies to each of my children. All securities are through Money Concepts Capital Corp. Christopher Kimball Financial Services is not affiliated with Money Concepts Capital Corp. Get your copy, The Saga of Ike and Penny, today. All right, let's dive into a story that instigated this passion that you have for cars. Now, you grew up in a family, motor oil in your veins, dirt grease under your fingernails, stacking cars with a forklift when you were a little kid. But is there a pivotal moment in your youth that you realized, you know what, I'm going to follow in Dad's footsteps. I'm a car guy?
I tell you the truth, I never wanted to be in the car business.
Really?
I'm a son of a man who woke up at 5 o'clock every single day, and he didn't come home till 7 o'clock at night, 6 days a week, and sometimes 7 days a week. I said, I didn't want that for myself. I said, I want to do something different than my dad and my uncle and my whole family's in this business. It runs through my veins. I wanted to be an architect. I wanted to do something different. But I'll tell you, as I grew older, as I started to take different classes and I started to be in a couple years of college of taking architectural classes, I was still embedded in it. I was still going to my dad's shop. I was still around it. And it just conquered me. Sometimes they say your path is already chosen. My path was already chosen. It wasn't until 2 years into me trying something else where I realized, I need to get back. I need to get back to what I was meant to do. And I was, even till today, I'm still that 5-year-old kid. I'm still that young boy on his dad's pallet shelving, making forts with hood pads.
Yeah.
I'm still that kid at heart. And if I go back to being that kid again, that's when I'm at my best. This youth, that's me.
I was going to say, maybe you took some of that creative juice in you that you thought you would direct towards architectural school and a career in that, and you put it back into vehicle design and production. So there's a lot of similarities there. My father was an architect. He loved being creative, but he's the one also who got me into passion for cars. So it seems like you ended up exactly where you should be.
Yeah.
What was your first really special vehicle? The first vehicle in your life you got that you went, yeah, man, this is cool.
You know what? At the time, I never thought it was a real special vehicle, but now that I look back, I'll tell you, I don't think you've ever gotten this one before.
Okay.
1983 Mercedes-Benz 240 diesel.
Okay.
Inline 5, stick shift, 0 to 60 in, 60 seconds.
In 3 days. Yeah.
3 days. And now that's going downhill.
Yeah.
I had 650,000 miles on this car.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, we're talking this diesel engine was a workhorse. It would run forever. I wanted to take it to 1 million miles. Mercedes had this thing that if you got any of their vehicles on the original engine to 1 million miles, they will give you a free car, any Mercedes model, any year that you ever wanted. They'll give it to you free of charge.
What?
But they want that car, and they put it into it. That's what my dad told me, at least.
You mean they'll give you a Gullwing? Oh my gosh! I should have been driving a 240 for the last 20 years. I could get a $2 million car for that old beast.
Yeah, but you have to find a way to get it to 1 million miles.
Oh,
I made it to 650. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
By the time I got it from my dad, and my dad had it. He got it from about 300,000 miles on it. I got it at about 550,000 or so.
Yeah.
When I finally had to give it up, it had 650,000 miles on it.
Wow. That's
40 miles a gallon on an 83. You can't beat that.
No, I had a guest on my show, JG Francis. He has a really cool business in Glendale, Mercedes Motoring. And what he does is he finds these old cars like the one you had from the 70s and early 80s and sometimes the late 60s. And he finds ones that have been really loved by people. He refreshes them and sells them. They're just gorgeous cars, but you're right. I mean, those cars, they're just bulletproof. They just keep, as long as you keep oil in them, and they just keep going and going and going and going.
Oh, yeah.
They never stop. So, if you like those cars, go check him out. JG, again, Mercedes Motoring. He's got a cool website, been a guest on my show. I went up and visited his shop. It's like going back in time, and it was just so wonderful. Some of the old wagons that he's got are just stunning.
Wow. I'll bet he knows my dad. He must know my dad.
He might. He's a younger guy.
Oh, yeah. If he's an old Mercedes fanatic, he must know my father. My father owned a company by the name of Ranger Mercedes Parts.
Okay.
He owned it for over 20 years. He sold it years ago when he finally retired.
Wow.
But he, anybody that's in the classic Mercedes business know my dad.
Yeah, I'll bet he does. Yeah. Well, listeners, you can go back and listen to JG's show on the Car Show website. What about this question, George? I'll bet nobody's asked you this. And you're right. I don't think anybody's picked an 83 240D as their first special car, but that's okay. I think that's a pretty cool car. It's probably a pretty safe car for a young person.
It was a tank.
Yeah, very robust, doesn't go that fast. How about this? If you woke up tomorrow and you were a vehicle, actually manifest as a vehicle, not what you want to be, but how you perceive yourself as a vehicle, what would George Patrick be and why?
Oh, my goodness. I'll tell you, I'd be a combination of a modern hypercar like a Bugatti or a Koenigsegg, and an old school Ford Model T hand crank.
Okay, now we're going to some weird places here. That's a very odd combination.
I love new technology. I love it. What they're doing with hybrid technology, what they're doing with lightweight manufacturing, it's amazing. It intrigues me. But I'm an old soul. Yeah, I've got heritage in my, I still do a lot of things the old way. Yeah. So I can't be anything one particular. I'm a hybrid. I'm new, but I'm traditional. I'm fast, but I take my time. That's best I could say.
The Harold Cleworth is an automotive artist. He's the one that gave me the idea for this question way back, probably 5 years ago. And he was a combination because he's an expatriate from the UK. So he was half Austin Healey and half Cadillac Biarritz. Imagine that Frankenstein car. But you've taken it to a whole nother level here, George. And
that's what I do.
Yeah, Harold would be smiling. And I've had several people answer this question like you have, but not with this kind of a stretch, with a lot of room in between. So that's a very clever answer. I like that. Thanks for thinking that through. All right, sure. We are entering the last lap. Time to buckle up, cinch it down. We're going to fire off some series of questions here and have George give us some very quick blips of that Bugatti Ford Model T throttle. That should sound kind of interesting.
Can you imagine hand cranking a Bugatti?
No, I can't. You break your arm, your wrist, and your shoulder all at the same time when that thing kicked in.
Sure you would.
All right. Would you share one of your personal habits you believe has contributed to your many successes over the years?
Be the first one there in the morning.
Yeah.
Be the last one out. Don't show up late. Truancy is one of the biggest problems car shops face today. Yeah. Don't complain. Again, just get it done. There's always a way. It's not witchcraft. Follow your sources. There is a solution.
Absolutely. My dad taught me that. And probably it came from him growing up on a farm where you have to get up early. He used to tell me that proverbial story when I was little. He goes, when I was a kid, I had to tunnel through the snow to the barn to milk the cows so I could have milk of my cereal. And those cows were frozen, so I had to hold those little teats between my hands till they warmed up so the milk would come out. And then it was uphill back to the house. Oh, yeah, he told me all those stories. But you know what? That stuck with me. I get up early. You just don't waste time. Absolutely. How about if you could sit down and have a drink or a meal with anyone in the automotive industry, living or deceased? Who would that individual be?
Oh, again, I'm going to take it back modern. I'm a huge fan of RJ Scaringe, owner and CEO of Rivian, the new electric truck company.
Uh-huh.
He's very much alive and very well thriving. He's kind of shaking up the car business. We're looking at 100 years of heritage where he's shaking up and he's doing things a whole new way. And I love innovation.
Yeah.
I said I'm an old soul, but I love innovation. Everything he does, it really motivates me. Mm-hmm. His background, how he personally contributes to the engineering sector. He's not just a wig with the money. He comes up in the automotive design world. He innovates. He contributes. And that, a lot of those characteristics are kind of about me. I work in the shop while I'm the business owner. I work every day and back in the shop. At least 4 days a week. I work with the guys.
Nice.
I believe in leading from the front, and I think RJ does the same thing.
Very cool. That's the first time anyone's mentioned him, which is really neat too. I love it when a new name comes to that question. How about automotive advice that someone's given you that you found real valuable? What was that?
Always make friends with the tech.
Yes. Yeah. That's for sure. I've been driving BMWs for 25 years now, and I've always taken my car to a dealership here. I've got another guy who's been a guest on my show as well, Pete Bristow, that works on my cars as well. But I love knowing the guy who's going to work on my car, and I'm one of those nutcases. So I actually detail my engine before I take my car in for service. So
oh, bless you.
Everybody always knows me, and they always want to work on my car. But at the same time, I know they're going to be extra careful because they know I'm super picky. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's a little tip I always tell people. How about a resource? Is there a resource out there that's a good go-to for you that you'd like to share?
Oh, you know what? I mean, the internet can be your best friend or your worst enemy. And while everybody says, reach out, if you have a problem with your car, search Google, search YouTube. But at the end of the day, your best resource should be a trusted shop. There's a big difference between watching something on TV or a video or a forum and then actually doing the work yourself.
Right.
So, the best resource should be a shop you trust.
Yes.
So I'd like to offer APG as a resource. It's not always about the sales. If you have a question about a car, you want to learn something, you always had some question you think is stupid, give us a call, ask questions. Education is the best resource in the world to lead to a potential sale. If you ever need help on a car, educate your customers, educate the community. If we can all just educate each other and share what we know generation to generation, the way that my dad and my family shared their knowledge to me, and I'll pass that on to my kids hopefully one day.
Right.
That's the best way we're going to learn. Our resources should be each other in our community.
That's great. Absolutely. I'll make sure to put a link to APG on George's show notes page here in the Cars Yeah website so you can check it out. How about a book, George? Is there a book you've read that you'd like to share you think others would gain some knowledge from?
I wish I could say I have. I haven't read books since R.L. Stein's Goosebumps.
Goosebumps. I remember those from my kids. Yeah, absolutely. Well, is there maybe a place you go online, or is there tech, or maybe it's audiobooks you enjoy listening to, or maybe it's a magazine you like. That's okay.
Yeah, actually, I read automotive news every day. I read auto news every single day, every single morning. I read what's going on in the car market. I read what's going on in the actual car business. Where they're heading, what's happening with the future of electrification. There's all sorts of automotive policies that we have to focus on with, them trying to ban, performance race cars, the various emissions regulations we have to keep up with.
Yep.
And also being here in the state of California, being an automotive modification shop, we have to keep up to date with all the constant changing rules and regulations with the Air Resources Board and the Environmental Protection Agency.
Yeah.
So, resources for me, myself, I focus on the regulations and where the car world's going. But for everybody else, read automotive news and magazine articles. This is the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
Educate yourself.
Absolutely. Well, anybody who's in the automotive business in the state of California, I hold in high esteem. That state makes things tough for everything. So kudos to you and what you're doing down there. Yeah, grew up down there, but I always say I escaped about 26 years ago.
Escaped.
Yeah. Well, I hate to say that because I always thought I'd go back, but it's a challenge for business, that's for sure. And they seem to not be making it easier. So kudos to you guys for sticking it out.
I like to add, if anybody is looking to develop, you look at these massive supercharger companies, Edelbrock and Roush, and everybody uses the same Eaton screws. Let's say you're somebody smaller, you want to modify your car. You want to add more performance or power or aerodynamics, and you are concerned about California regulations. I mean, even federal regulations.
Right.
APG, we have a history in homologation and regulation. So we know if you have questions, don't hesitate. Reach out to us. We can educate you. I worked 10 years in an emission laboratory, which I'd have to have a whole separate conversation with you about.
Oh gosh, I'll bet.
But it's important to build your car also to be compliant.
Yeah.
It's extremely important. Don't think if you're a shop and you're throwing performance tunes blindly on cars that aren't certified. Be careful. The state of California has an army and they will come after you.
Oh yeah.
And if you're an owner and you have these modifications to your car, please be careful. I'm not trying to teach you how to get away with it. I'll just try to teach you. There's a lot of legal options out there that you just don't know about. And there's also a way, if you are a performance company, where you can certify your products and you can do it the right way.
Yeah.
If you want a little bit of coaching how to do that, don't hesitate. Give me a call anytime.
Well, there you go. The door is open. Thankfully to George. I've had lots of guests on the show that build stuff in California. Amazing companies like Superformance, of course, and Edelbrock, of course, and so many others that are producing vehicles down there. So if you can comply and work well in that state, you can play just about anywhere in the world. So there you go. All right, we're up to the checkered flag here, George. This last question can be a bit of a doozy. I'm going to buy you any cool collector car on the planet, but you have to abide by my rules. It's the only one you can have. You have to drive it, and you can't sell it to buy a bunch of other toys with. So what can I buy you today, George?
Ooh, give me a new Ford Jeep. Oh, wait, maybe I should say the same 240 diesel Mercedes.
You're gonna be a cheap date. That's nice. I like that. Thank you.
Oh no! Give me a new Ford GT.
Oh my gosh. Okay, now we're talking pretty darn cool stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I had Mark Koros, who he used to be the CEO at Covercraft. They're one of my longtime sponsors here. I support them. I love those guys. And he got one of those things. I just talked to him on the phone a couple weeks ago, and he says it's just killer car. And I've not driven that. I've driven the previous one, the first gen of the Ford GT, which was marvelous. Beautiful car. This one took it to another place. What color would you like on yours? Just so I get you the right car.
I like Velocity Blue, please. If that's not too much to ask, and add just the right amount of sparkle in there.
Yeah, no, I'll do whatever you want. Yeah, and I'm going to drive it down, so I'll have a few miles when I deliver it, but I'm sure you won't mind.
Not at all.
I do take.
You can borrow it. You can borrow my car anytime.
There you
Please
go.
Bring it back with a full tank, okay?
I'd be happy. Gas is cheap right now, so it's no problem. Yeah,
cheaper.
One of the few times. Well, it's still a little expensive down there. And up here in Washington State, we have a lot of taxes on our gas, so. But I filled up the car the other day and it was like $229 for premium. I'm like, yes, this is so nice. And now we can't go anywhere. They've locked us down. So I think it was a big conspiracy theory is what I think. But it is what it is. Well, new Ford GT, what a wonderful car. I'll get you one of those in Velocity Blue. George, you've taken me on a really fun ride. I knew this would be good. I've enjoyed your stories, enjoyed getting to know you better. Thanks for sharing your journey. Could you give us a little parting piece of wisdom or guidance before you... I'm sure you're not going to take that Ford GT off-road like you guys are going to take your Ranger before you drive off into the California sunset.
I don't think I've ever worked a day in my life. I love this business. I love everything about it. I don't shy away from the smell of gasoline or diesel fuel. I don't know. Maybe I'm different, but because I enjoy what I'm doing, I have never worked a day in my life. So anybody who's looking to get into the car business, run away. No, just kidding. Just pursue your passion. Enjoy what you're doing. That's the best thing that I can leave you with. As we all know, life's full of challenging decisions day by day. Just just have fun along the way, because you don't want to look back when you're 90 years old and say, I wish I did this instead. That's the best advice that I got. So I'll just pass that along.
It's great advice. And I'll tell you something I'm starting to see from people with this pandemic situation we're in. It's giving people a different perspective on things. And I think there'll be a silver lining, maybe a few silver linings from all of this. We will all get through this. And I hope that we all take away some positive learning lessons that, like what George just shared with us, is do something you enjoy. I've got 1,556 guests here on Cars Yeah, Inspiring Automotive Enthusiasts, are doing just that. You listeners, you can do that with your life as well. There's so many opportunities. George, what's the best way for people to learn more about APG?
Give us a call. Give us a call. That's it. 714-418-4455. Ask to talk to anybody from APG. You're welcome to contact me. I wish this podcast is going to come out earlier. Right now, we have a lot more free time. So we're able to talk to people. Like I said, check out our website. Please follow us on social media, Automotive Performance Group. I know it's a long word, Automotive Performance Group, known as APG.
Yep.
Social media, you can see what we do on the day-to-day. We're always posting stories of clever tricks. We learn a lot working on customer cars here. So, if you follow our stories, you'll see little nicks and crannies, how we're able to get into tight spots with special tooling. We like to teach. We're not scared of showing industry secrets or giving away our special sauce. I don't think that way. I think if we teach people what we know, we leave room in our brain to learn new things.
There you go.
So if you want to learn, you want to just see what we're made of, easy as that. Give us a call or follow us on social media. You'll learn a lot about our company.
I'll make sure I put links to all this on George's show notes page. So if you're driving or running or walking, whatever you're doing while you're listening to this podcast, you can go back and find everything. Take George up on that offer. Reach out to him, and I'm sure he and his team will be happy to help you with whatever questions that you have. Hey, George, thanks for being so generous today with your time and expertise and for sharing your experiences with our listeners. And for you listeners out there, stay healthy. We'll get through this. Stay happy. Spend some time with your family. And go online and check out APG. I think you're going to be happy what you see. Until you and I talk again, George, I'll see you down the road.
Thank you so much, Mark.
You're welcome. Are you looking for a way to get your products or services into the ears of thousands of automotive enthusiasts around the globe? I can help. This is Mark Green here at Cars Yeah, and I'd be honored to be an influencer and ambassador for your brand in a unique and personal way. 5 days a week, thousands of subscribers and listeners enjoy the Cars Yeah podcast and website. Contact me today and I'll show you how at mark@carsyeah.com or connect with me through the Cars Yeah website at carsyeah.com.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's ride here at Cars Yeah. Drive on over to carsyeah.com to find show notes and inspiring automotive fun. Download your free copy of Filler Up, a fun book filled with gorgeous photographs of fuel filler fun, including quotes from more inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Download your copy today, and we'll see you next time on Cars Yeah.